So I come from TechCrunch, which is a blog that has over 4 million readers. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
No.
But they're all huge fans of Tron.
Good.
So I had them write in with some of their questions.
Oh, great. Good idea.
I thought it'd be better if the fans asked questions. So one of the questions was, what do you think about blue screen acting then in the original Tron versus now Tron Legacy, and if its advancement has enhanced or ruined acting in big Hollywood films?
Good question. I would have to say that the special effects from the first one to this one have drastically changed. You know, when we did that first Tron 28 years ago, there was no internet. You know, the cell phones were carried around in big suitcases, and it was a completely different world. The sets were made out of this black duvetine here that you see, you know, and with white adhesive tape, you know, for the grid, and shot in 70mm black and white and hand tinted by a bunch of ladies in Korea. You know, it was a different kind of thing. This movie, and one of the reasons I wanted to do this film, is it was going to give me a chance to experience performance capture, which is making movies without cameras. You know, and that seemed like a bizarre thing. Fascinating. The way that goes down is you'll be in a room they call it the volume, and there are no cameras, but there are hundreds of little tracking sensors. They look kind of like, they're about the size of one of those little sprinklers, you know, that you have in the ceilings of a hotel. And the actors are in tights, leotard kind of looking things with these little glowing balls all over them, 100 dots on your face. And there is no makeup, no costumes, no sets, and no camera angles. Everything is done in post. Yeah. You'll all be wearing these next year. This is the latest style. You know, for instance, if we were shooting this scene and we were in the volume, in our leotards and our dots, you know, we could say, let's start the scene here and come around and go around real fast around. Now let's go this way. You know, they can do whatever they want in post. So that is fascinating. And then, I know it's a long answer, but it was a complicated question. And then as far as how is this going to affect, what was the last part? How will this new technology affect?
How's it going to affect acting in Hollywood?
Acting well, I know one thing that I'm excited about is that now the technology is there for me to play my character at any age. I can be an 8-year-old and a 93-year-old, and the same actor can play that age without having a different actor play each of those ages. That's kind of fascinating. And then we're on and this is probably already happening, and I'm not sure if this is a good thing or bad thing, which is sort of the message of Tron, is that now we can, we'll be able to combine a little Brando, a little De Niro, a little, Pacino, little Bridges, and shake it up, and then have somebody else, and then come up with a virtual being, and then have some other actor drive that being. It's getting weird, and
very cool.
And I don't know really what it will do to the acting. It's really throwing the ball back at the writers now, are totally liberated to realize anything they want to write.
Well, thank you very much. You've made this band very happy. So
oh, good. I'm sorry I rambled on.
No, that's great.
Question,
you've made their day. Trust me.
Oh, good, good.
So, how does it feel to be the new Yori? So when I was 5 years old, it was really, really hard to find female heroines, and I looked up to her. And so I'm really excited about you and your role.
Fantastic.
And how women will look up to you in the future.
Well, it's so nice to hear you say that, because that was our goal from the very first day with Cora. From 6 months before we started shooting, I said to Joe, we have to make her strong, And sexy, yeah, because she can fight, but really, really smart and really cool in a way that most of these femme fatale characters in these big action-adventure movies are not. And so it kind of clicked into gear when we figured out the Joan of Arc reference with Cora, and then that affected the way we designed her look. And I agree with you that there's kind of this dearth of great characters for little girls to look up to. I mean, I remember dressing up as Wonder Woman every single year for Halloween, and now I don't know what they're dressed up as. I can't tell if it's like princesses or hookers. I don't know what they're supposed to be, but they don't look very empowered. I think they need more little suits that give them fighting powers so they can, you know, stand up for intelligence and humanity and independence. And I think Cora just sends a good message to girls to identify themselves as being empowered by their own compassion and intelligence. And the important message that you don't have to be, or in order to be a really strong person, you can still be quite vulnerable. And I think that's the struggle that a lot of girls have.
I'm looking forward to all the costumes. I have an 8-year-old, and I hope that she will dress up as Cora. It'll be
that
very
would
cool.
be so great.
Are you familiar with Cora.com?
No.
So I thought this was really interesting when I was watching the movie. I was like, oh, Cora. So Cora is actually really big in Silicon Valley and among nerds. And so I think you probably made their day.
That's
with
so cool.
With basically having the role Cora. But it's a question-answer service. It's pretty neat.
Oh my God, how funny, we had no idea.
Yeah.
She actually had 3 different names throughout the shooting of the film. There was a point where we were actually shooting and she didn't have a name. She was like the nameless child that's already in preschool because the parents can't make a decision. We were, at one point her name was Paige, but then it became very confusing because we kept saying the word page and pager in the film. We were like, no, we are absolutely confusing the audience. And she had a few different ones, but Cora really fit for several different reasons.
Cora's a fantastic name.
Yeah, thanks.
And what advice do you give to women who want to get into technology? I know that you're not in technology and that's not your role, but Cora is definitely fits that role. What advice do you give to young women, just in general?
Well, I think that a lot of times people think the world of technology is kind of a boys' world. It's obviously not true. Women are just into techie things as men, and I think women probably bring a different perspective to it that's quite useful when kind of evolving technology to become a more powerful tool to save the world. You know, I think that when women lead, whether they lead families or lead nations, they have a different perspective, and one that traditionally leads to more peaceful times. And I think that if there's a way for Cora to represent the best possible interpretation of technology, combining, you know, great intelligence and strength with compassion and kind of amazement, then I think that that's something that I think women bring to the world of technology. And maybe that's horribly sexist against men, but I do just mean that women can really jump into it and believe in themselves as pioneers in that world.
We have to get you out of here.
Up there! There's a new world!
Here they come!
Up there!